Yesterday it happened. I played against the man, the myth, the engine, the puzzle rushing, speed running, checkmating mastermind everyone calls GM Hikaru Nakamura. As a part of the UChicago chess club, I was able to participate in a 40-person Simul. This was like 40 Davids versus Goliath, 40 plastic versus metal Beyblades, 40 of those small raptors versus the Indominus Rex in Jurassic World, 40 Alex Caruso's versus LeBron. You get the point. He had to move in 40 minutes for 40 games while everyone else had 20 minutes on their clock. He did get 10 seconds back for every move he made, and on top of that, the moderators did add an additional hour to his clock for every game. Apparently, it was a whole ordeal. The whole time system from his perspective was messed up. I think it would have been better if they added a few seconds to every clock for every move he made, no matter if he was moving in the game or not. Regardless, I'm super grateful I got the opportunity to play against Hikaru. If I had my choice at the person that I could play in the world, probably tied for first with Magnus. So, of course, both he and Magnus have an open invitation to do a live stream with me in the future if they want to teach me a few things. Come on, guys, I know you're watching. So, big thanks to everyone who organized this, especially to Hikaru. Really cool that you agreed to do this. So, if you guys like the video, and as a goal, let's try to get Hikaru to comment on this. I think that'd be really cool. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the game. So here's the white pieces, and he starts with knight f3, a book move. I respond with knight c6, also a book move. He plays e4, e5, bishop b5, knight f6, short castles, d6, and now d4. I looked at his games. I knew what I would probably play if he transposed into something like e4, knight f3. I was expecting knight c3 at some point. So a lot of this was already prepped. So I play the move bishop to d7, and he plays knight c3. I bring out my bishop, looking to castle. I look to castle the entire game, but he doesn't let me. So he takes, I take back with my bishop, and then he plays queen to e2. So in this position, this is right when I get about like out of the realm of prep. The right move is to take on d4, but I don't play that. Instead, and I knew as soon as like 5 moves after this that it was my mistake. I played b6, an inaccuracy, because after he takes, and if I were to take back and he takes, I can't really defend this. If I come here, he just takes my queen. So I'd now have to move back. But now he just has too many attackers. He has a nice knight. He's going to get a nice outpost. So I didn't like that transposition. So instead I play another inaccuracy. Knight to g4. I'm thinking maybe I can get him to weaken his dark squares. If he takes, I'm fine with taking back. Now I have a battery here. Maybe I can in some position get this if the knight moves. He plays the best move, knight to d4. I take the pawn on e5 with my knight, thinking that, great, I win the pawn. I'm also going to guard this. But then the move that just decidedly loses it all, f4. Asking me, what do I want to do? Do I want to lose my knight? Do I want to lose my bishop? So I decide after a while, I think I spent about 3 minutes thinking in this move. I played bishop takes on e4. Now it says it's an accuracy. What I was thinking was I have to lose either the knight or the bishop. I might as well get a pawn out of it. So I should have short castled. In the grand scheme of things, if you guys watch the live stream, which I don't expect you guys to watch all 2 hours, but I was trying to castle the entire time, and he just wouldn't let me. So after it takes, and he takes with the queen, now I have to move the knight. Now, if I move the knight here, he has knight c6, threatening my queen with a reveal on the knight, and I'm losing the knight, so I can't do that. I obviously can't play any of these moves because that just loses. I could come like this, but now after a move like this and then queen to c8, my queen's not getting out. My knight's kind of trapped. My bishop can't move. If I ever try and castle, he now is going to bring his rook over, and it's going to be hard for me to defend my bishop. So instead I play knight to g6. Again, the right move was just castling, saying, I need to get my king to safety. It's just better if even if I lost the knight. That's how bad the position was. So I play knight to g6. He plays knight c6, threatening my queen. I bring it to c8. Instead, the engine says to push the pawn. I don't quite get it just because after takes, now I still have to move. And he has a battery here. Just 3 pieces looking at the bishop. So now he brings his rook over. And at this point, there's some strategy involved. I knew that he's playing 39 other games. And I knew at this point I lost. But it's move 14. How long can I extend this? Can I make him short on time for other games? We got more wins because I extended my game. So I play queen to e6. Taking the queens off the board, it's going to be a lot harder to find some checkmates. So after he pushes the pawn, I take the queen on e4. He takes back with the rook. And now I block again with the knight. And after takes, takes, and takes, I create an escape square for my king while also threatening the rook. And after he plays rook to e6, obviously best move, I play king to f7. And after bishop to f4, he threatening my c pawn, I play bishop check. This was kind of just a bucket list thing. I had to check Hikaru. I'm playing him. I wanted to be a part of the... I have to think less than 10,000 people have ever checked him. So he blocks with the bishop, but I'm not interested in taking the bishops off the board. So I move back to d6. He threatens with the knight. I move to e5, not interested. He looks to trade, still not interested. I know the best move is to trade there, but I just didn't want to simplify things. It would just be too easy for him to finish off the game. So after he plays rook to e1, now I play rook h to e8. And after takes, takes, captures, and captures, he wins a pawn on a7. I push my pawn, threatening the bishop. I move my king out. At this point, I don't really know what to do. It's a closed position. I can't push my pawns too much because then he'll just take them and promote. I can't move my king too much. This square, this square, this square are all occupied, and I don't really want to move on any dark squares, and I just came from here. So I move my bishop back. He threatens my bishop. Now I move it back, and he pushes b3. Someone who was watching his stream told me that in this position, it's very closed. He doesn't... I mean, anything's winning, right? He could start pushing his a-pawn, for instance. But he was just like, I think I have a better move, but I can't really think at this moment because he's playing 39 other games simultaneously. So he plays b3, probably the only move I made him think. I play king c6, and after a4, I think in this position I would resign for any normal player, but or like in any normal format. But it's Hikaru. I'm gonna play out the entire game because how often do you get to play Hikaru? And it's also a Simul, so I want to take as much time off his clock as possible. It's worth noting at this point, he had about 2.5 minutes on his clock left, and he already refilled his clock 15 minutes. So he plays king to f1. I play king to b7. He gives a check. I play king to a6. I'm hoping that he doesn't see the idea of I can just walk my king out. Maybe create some passed pawns here. Obviously, after I threatened threaten the knight. Oh, I didn't move it here because after he plays something like knight to b7, he just wins my bishop for free. So I had to kick away the knight, and then I play this, but then he just gives check. This square is not an option because of the pawns, so I just have to move back, and it's kind of sad. And now I'm allowed to win a pawn. I come back to e5, and now at this point, I have to trade. If I move, I just give up the pawn for free. So to extend it as long as possible, that's the best move. And now I bring my king over. He gives a check. I take it. He takes more pawns. And now he's just promoting the a pawn. And I think I commented on stream, this move was especially disgusting. I thought that he would play something like queen gives check here and then just promote this pawn. It'd just be easier. But to find this move right away, he probably spent like 2 seconds looking at the board. Because that's the only move. And now he just continuously plays the best move. Which, I mean, he's Hikaru. If anyone's going to, it's going to be him. So after knight to d5, I try and push my pawn. He gives a check. A series of best responses. He plays knight to e3. I push my pawn again. He moves his queen up to g4. I now move my king to h1. And if you'd like to pause the video, it's mate in 2. Alright, for those of you who got it, congratulations. And for those of you who just want to sit back and enjoy the show, it's queen takes on h3. And the only move is king to g1, and he delivers a stunning checkmate on g2. And Hikaru is crowned the victor. Alright, that's the game. Again, thanks to everyone who organized this at the UChicago Chess Club, at chess.com, and a big thanks to Hikaru. Really cool to play you. I hope to play you again sometime. Alright, we're still on the road to 100. We're at 70 subscribers. It'd be really cool if we hit that milestone on this video. Alright, have a good day.